Of course, setback can affect every area of your life. Even sometimes you're not able to think well. I have been there and I can relate. I understand. But if you really want to get out of that setback, you really have to challenge yourself. You have to push yourself. Push yourself and understand what is important to you. What is that thing that is a priority to you? Life can be very funny at times. It's full of ups and downs. Sometimes in life you feel you've gotten everything right. Everything seems to be going on well for you. You know, you're really happy. You think you've figured everything out and your life seems to be perfect. And sometimes you might be faced with disappointments, and you know that your happy state just goes down to a different story. Yeah, but whatever setback you're faced with in life, there is always an opportunity to come back, pull yourself together, and start all over again. Whatever I always have of this saying, when life throws lemons at you, you make lemonade, isn't it? I will be sharing some of the ways in which you can come back from setbacks. In my life, I have been through a lot of setbacks. You know, I have gotten job disappointments, you know, relationship disappointments, you know, while I was growing. And it's not like I've figured it all out, but I will be sharing some of my experiences with you and some of the things that you could do to pull yourself together. I am Bola Omishade, and this is the Bola Adeyeye Omishade Show. Thanks for joining me today. If you don't know what this community is about, I teach people to build their confidence. You might have lost confidence in yourself, lost confidence in your relationship, in your business. I will teach you to believe in yourself, to overcome that self-doubt and stop having those limiting beliefs, how to manage and overcome those limiting beliefs. And of course, you be the best version of yourself. You want to be part of this community, all you need to do is click on the subscribe button. You know, every Saturday, 1 p.m., there is always an episode that will motivate you, that will help align you so that you're figuring those things that you need to do to be the best version of yourself. You keep hearing all these motivation, these inspirational thoughts from me that will help you and facilitate you being the best version of yourself. You might be watching from Facebook. Follow us, okay? And share this with somebody that needs to hear this. Okay, today it's, if you don't know what the topic is about, it's about overcoming those setbacks. And like I said, you might be faced, it might be a financial setback, it might be a personal setback, it might be professional setback, business setback, you know. But when you're faced with this setback, your business is not going as usual, or maybe you might have lost a contract, or you've lost some money. How do you deal with this setback? You know, recently I was very, very unhappy. And it was a point of, I think I was speaking to a couple of people and somebody was saying, don't get angry, don't be upset. I felt, you know, in my own time, I thought if I don't really get upset, then it just keeps eating deep into me. I would rather speak out my my annoyance. I would speak out that thing that I'm bitter about so that I can let it go. So, and yes, I feel good when I speak out what is annoying me or what is that thing that is making me upset. And I'm sharing that with you today. When you are faced with a setback, I want you to acknowledge it and accept it. Don't try to push it away. Accept that you're faced with this is the reality. You're faced with it. If it's, I would always say that it's okay to cry, it's okay to mourn, it's okay to scream, it's okay to do whatever you want to do. Not until you have done that will you be able to let it go. But when you put yourself in a situation where you don't want to think about it, you don't want to feel bad, you don't want to cry, then it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. So the first thing you need to do is acknowledge this setback and understand that, yes, it is here. And I have found myself in situations where, as humans, we try to put blame. We try to look for other people to blame, or we look for one thing or the other to blame when we're faced with setback. We make excuses instead of focusing on what the problem is. So what you need to do is, when you're faced with setback, you need to stop blaming people. Stop blaming things. Stop looking for things to put the blame on. Instead, you want to sit down and do a proper reflection. Have a proper reflection, a reevaluation of what went wrong. If it's a business, you need to sit down. You see, reflecting is it's something that you have to challenge yourself to do. You sit down and reflect. You reevaluate the whole process of, where did I get it wrong? Where did it go wrong? Where did I miss it? And this is something that you have to challenge yourself to do. Instead of focusing on you did wrong, you did right, you have to sit down and have a thought about what went wrong. Where did it go wrong? Why did it go wrong? When did it go wrong? You need to ask yourself, and when you're doing that, you're preparing yourself so that in future, if you have to start all over again, and you're faced with this kind of situation, you are able to tackle it differently. You're able to address it differently. So sit down and do that evaluation of, how can I do it differently? How can I do it better? And that's one good way of doing it. If it's your relationship, you say, maybe you've had an argument, or you said, okay, in this relationship, what are things I did well? What are the things I did not do well? What are the things I can improve? What are the things my spouse or my partner complained about? If it's a job, you got fired, you could ask yourself, what are the things they complained about? What are the reasons why they said, I need to leave the job, or I need to resign? You need that time of reevaluation, not only when you find yourself in that position of doing a reevaluation. Not until then will you be able to move forward. And then another important thing is, you always need to ask yourself, what do you really want? And I really don't know how to stress this. It's very, very important. We need to be very, very clear on what we want. What do you want from the job? What do you want from that relationship? What do you want from that business? Is it the money? Then how are you going to make the money? Are you doing the right things? If you have failed, is it what part of that failure has limited you from not making the money? You need to be very clear so that you are focusing on that thing that you want. I want you to, if you're watching this, I know that you're watching this, maybe you're faced with one setback or the other. I want you to sit down and reflect. What do I want? What do I want from that business? What do I want from that relationship? Or what do I want from that, from that job? You always need to ask yourself, because it needs to be very clear, that thing that you want. And the moment you start asking yourself those right questions, it motivates you, it prepares you for that journey, that destination, because your mind is prepared. Your mind is prepared to push you to that place where you want to be. Yes, I know that sometimes it might be very difficult to sit down and reflect and ask yourself those questions, because of course setback can affect every area of your life. Even sometimes you're not able to think well. I have been there and I can relate. I understand. But if you really want to get out of that setback, you really have to challenge yourself. You have to push yourself. Push yourself and understand what is important to you. What is that thing that is a priority to you? What is that thing that you want in future? Because now you are here. Whatever that setback is in the past. You want to prepare for where you are going to, and you want to focus more on your priorities, on those things that are important to you. I was recently I was taking a walk with my husband, and we got to a place where we saw some beautiful flowers, and there was a tree, there were lots of flowers, and there were weeds around as well, and they were different flowers. Like we had some purple, some red, some white, and we had a tree, like a very tall tree there. And I decided to take a picture of that environment. And then I was showing to my husband. I said, the tree is right in the midst of all these flowers. We have different kinds of flowers, and we had weeds around, some of the weeds might be challenging, or might limit the growth of maybe the other kind of flowers, but also even the tree. But you see, they are still the flowers are still really coming out very beautifully, because they are focusing on where they are going. Yes, you will be faced with setback. Life is not fair. You will be faced with challenges. Life is not easy. It is how you handle those setbacks. It is how you handle the challenges that matters. You need to focus on where you are going to and enjoy the journey. I would want to assume that the flowers around are focusing on bringing out the beautiful flowers when it's summer, because they are more focused on doing the right things. Yes, when you're faced with those setbacks, acknowledge it. Let it emerge. Let that annoyance emerge. Let that anger emerge. Let that feelings that you have failed, let it emerge, and reflect, so that you can move forward, so that you can address those things. You can have the clear mind to address those things that have gone wrong. Focus on those things that are priority to you. Challenge yourself and stop blaming. Stop blaming others. Now, when you're trying to overcome the setback, you really have to make some very tough decisions. In some cases, you need to be very strict with yourself. I have somebody very close to me. She was trying to raise some money, and she was so focused on raising that money that nothing would shake her. Even she would not even eat, and she would tell you, eat what we have. This is what we have. This money, nothing is going to change. Yes, she did achieve it. She achieved it. So sometimes you need to take some very tough decisions. You need to concentrate on where you are going. and in some cases, you have to make people accountable. You make people accountable for whatever they have done. Yes, that is you becoming, making those tough decisions so that you can get to where you are going to. Life sometimes requires you to, hold the bull by the horn. And you say, well, I know that there is a storm. I know that it's really windy, but I will thrive. I will keep going. And you have to challenge yourself. You have to be very intentional about this. Now, when you're coming out of that setback, you don't expect rapid change. It is a gradual process. A few days ago, I had a goal, and it didn't really feel like I was making any improvement. But then a couple of days ago, I sat down and I was reflecting, and I just saw a tiny little bit of improvement, and I felt, well, sometimes you might not see that you're making progress. I could see that I was making progress. They were not very big progress, but I really felt good with myself that it is hard. It is a very hard goal, or it is a very hard target. But I could see that I was making progress, and I celebrated, like I would say, I celebrated that small win. I had a time where I had to reflect, and I felt good with myself that yes, I am making progress. It's not so big, it's not a massive progress, but then I am getting there. And those tiny little bit of steps that you're taking, so when you're trying to overcome setback, take those baby steps, challenge yourself, push yourself, even when you don't feel like, even when you're really depressed, even when you're not happy, push yourself. Just keep pushing yourself and take it one day at a time. Say, well, I know that it's not coming. I know where I am going to. I have identified where the problem is coming from. I am trying to resolve it, but then I will keep going. I will keep going. I will keep going. Do not give up. Do not give up because you have failed once. Do not give up because you have just lost that job and there is no hope. You have to keep trying, because the moment you keep trying, and I have, when you listen to all those the motivational speakers, or those people who have made it, they will tell you how many times they have failed and how many times they've had to try all over again and pick up the pieces. Yeah, when you keep trying all over again, you would get there. Keep failing until you succeed. Do not quit. Do not give up. And importantly, like I would say, when I was giving you the scenario of the tree and the weed, don't compare. They didn't compare themselves with you. They are thriving. Don't compare yourself with other people, because when you're comparing yourself with others, then you might have some things that would limit you, that would question your abilities. And then those negative thoughts and negative beliefs start setting in. Focus on you. Focus on your own journey. Your story is different from somebody else's story. Do not give up. When you fail, when you're faced with setback, sit down and acknowledge that yes, you have failed. Let that feeling of failure, let that feeling of setback, let it emerge. Cry if you want to cry. Shout if you want to shout. Take some time away if you want to. And then start identifying what is important to you. I have lost this job. What is important with that job? What do I feel bad about? That relationship. What is very good about this, my partner? What is very good about this business. Identify those things that are important to you, because it just prepares you for the future. It prepares you for where you are going to. Stop putting blames. Stop looking for people to put the blame on. Focus on where you have gotten it wrong. Focus on when you got it wrong, why you got it wrong, and how you got it wrong. Put so much effort in identifying where those mistakes are so that it prepares you for making amends in the future. And of course, you need to challenge yourself and make tough decisions. Start taking those tough decisions of accountability. Make every actions accountable. Make everything you do, there has to be accountability. And yes, I believe that your desired destination, you will get there. You will get there if you do not give up. You will get there if you do not quit. If you have found this very useful, you have found value from this, I want you to share this. And of course, I am here to help you. I'm here to look at those goals with you. I'm here to align, and let's do that reflection together if you're struggling, to prepare you for that future that you want. Send me an email if you want a one-to-one with me, and we can talk about this. I can look at that problem with you. I can look at that setback with you, and we can align them and plan your journey to get you to where you intend to be. If you have not followed us on our social media pages, do not forget to do that. Share this with everyone. And I want you to leave in the comment, what is that thing that you're taking away from this? What is that thing that you would do differently? Yeah, I'm glad that you have watched this till the end. And I hope you have not spent the last 10-15 minutes without taking one or two things away. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'll see you again same time next week. This is Bola Adeyeye Omishade. Bye-bye.